What we're doing is several organizations are coming together to say that Mississippi is positioned to move forward on a lot of different fronts, economically, philanthropically, volunteer-wise, and in the nonprofit sector. So it's all of us coming together and working toward that end.
What's it going to take to accomplish that?
It's going to take working together, it's going to take resources, it's going to take people combining resources, it's going to take the public will to make things different here than they've been in the past, and that's what we're going to try to help spearhead through this conference.
This is indeed our third conference, and it was spawned as a result of a year-long planning process through Blueprint Mississippi, the Mississippi Economic Council's strategic plan for moving Mississippi forward. And out of that process, we realized that we had to pull more people together. We had to develop a collaborative model throughout the state of Mississippi, pull all of the not just our major corporations, but our small businesses, our nonprofits, our volunteer organizations, our community service organizations. We had to devise a model in order that we all work together to solve these issues that we deal with on a daily basis. And that model is the beginning of what you see here today. It is a communicative collaboration where we have an opportunity to meet one another, talk with one another, and plan with one another about those very issues. How are we going to move Mississippi ahead in education, in the arts, in our health care, in housing, in the whole child, the whole family. So this conference is really the stepping stone of forming these collaborative, not exercises, but collaborative entities in working together in our sort of our three-pronged approach, which is the public sector, meaning the government, our private sector being our companies, and that third sector, which is often referred to as the interdependent sector, meaning nonprofits, and our churches are in that grouping as well. So we're all here today to learn from one another, to get to know one another, and to look for opportunities to work together to continue improving all of the citizens in the state of Mississippi. And I wanted to give you just a few little data points. But before I do that, that working together model has been especially evident this past year in putting this conference together. And I need to have all of us thank the sponsors. The sponsors have been so supportive of this burgeoning collaborative model, and we need to thank all of them, and I know that you will do so as well. And that is, of course, Energy Mississippi, and we have a special thank you to Liz, because actually it was Liz's brainchild, she's our brainchild, that got all of us together. We were all holding our separate meetings, doing our separate things, and Liz pulled us all together, and this conference is a result of her efforts, her ideas, and her work, really, in getting us all at the table together. So thank you, Liz, for all of your efforts, and Entergy for sponsoring this conference. And of course, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi has been, again, with us for these past 3 years, and we thank Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mississippi Power, very, very strong advocate of the collaborative model. Atmos Energy, the Mississippi Economic Council, which of course is where all of this spawned, and the Mississippi Development Authority, and our new partner, Joy Foy, and my foundation, the Phil Hardin Foundation, which is a statewide foundation who has worked throughout the state on doing this very, very same thing, working in this collaborative fashion. But also, the hard day-to-day work was done by a wonderful group of people representing some incredible organizations in this state that really get this collective impact. We cannot do it alone. We need to work together. And that is exactly what is happening in pockets all over the state. We're seeing this groundswell of these partnerships develop that are really going to change and transform the face of our state. And those organizations that have been involved in this partnership of planning this past year is the Mississippi Arts Commission, headed by Tom Pearson. We just are so thrilled to have Tom here. The Mississippi Association of Grant Makers, of which I serve as chair, and that's a statewide organization. The Mississippi Center of Nonprofits, of which many of you are members. Volunteer Mississippi, and the United Ways of Mississippi. So can we give them all a round to thank them for all of these efforts? And lastly, when we talk about impact, I want to tell you just how much that impact means in dollars, because we often don't respond to people or don't respond necessarily as we should when we hear, yeah, we're doing a great job and we're doing this and doing that, until you put numbers to it. When we put the numbers to it, it really changes our perspective and our awareness and our knowledge of what the import is of all of this work that the nonprofits are doing. And those nonprofits consist of many different types of entities, as I said, in the housing area, health, art, education, community development. And as of 2010, according to the Foundation Center's data, we have over 12,000 nonprofits in just the state of Mississippi. That is no small number. They incur over $9 billion of revenue. 9 billion B. Yes, those are big numbers for the state of Mississippi. Those nonprofits, of which I am one, over 63,000 people. Now again, this is 2010 data. So by 2014, and taking into consideration the economic recession and the coming out of this recession, we probably will have larger numbers when the new data is developed. But that represents a total of 6% or over 6% of our workforce in the state of Mississippi. It's significant. Total assets, all the nonprofits in the state of Mississippi alone are over $18 billion. So all of you here today and all of you who couldn't be here today are part of a pretty big package in the state of Mississippi. So we applaud all of your efforts, and we need to support one another. We will continue doing that, and I thank all of you for your tremendous efforts in making Mississippi a better place to live every day for all of our children and all of our families and our businesses. And now I'd like to turn it over to my compatriot, my partner, my companion during these past few months, Dr. Deborah Moore.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I would like to join Rebecca in welcoming you all to this year's conference. I'm really honored to have served as co-chair alongside Rebecca. She's done a marvelous job. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize the planning committee that worked so hard to make sure that this conference is such a success. And I'm just going to ask them to stand at this time. The planning committee, if you'll stand, and just allow us to give you a round of applause. Don't be shy. Okay, great, thank you. I just want us to just keep all the communities and families in our prayers and our thoughts that's been impacted over the last few days by the storms. Let's just keep them in prayer. Our hearts are really saddened by what has happened. But on an exciting note, this is a wonderful conference, and we're going to have a marvelous time.
I am here to welcome you to the city of Jackson, the capital city of the state of Mississippi, your capital city. And I also bring you greetings from city government in the city of Jackson, which I'm a part. As you know, we too have had some problems in Jackson that we had to deal with. We lost our late mayor on February the 25th, and my council colleagues tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to serve as interim mayor or acting mayor, whichever you choose to call it. It was quite an experience. I served on the council for the last 8 years, going into my, well, just about to complete my 9th year. I retired from the Jackson Public Schools as a school administrator. I worked faithfully as a school administrator and a community organizer, community activist, and as a community supporter. So I know what your dreams are when it comes to trying to move the state of Mississippi forward. And I know what we are trying to do here in the city of Jackson to make sure your capital city move forward also. So we're in this thing together, trying to better the state of Mississippi, trying to better all our communities. And as we do that, we will develop a better Mississippi for all of us that we all will be proud of, and that we all will leave a legacy for those that will be coming after us. So I applaud you, I welcome you, and thanks for having this conference in your state capital, and whatever we can do while you're here, please let us know. The new mayor, I had the opportunity to invite him to speak to the Rotary Club, and I was supposed to be there to introduce him. But I had made this commitment to you. So I will be leaving shortly to join the West Jackson Rotary, where the new mayor is the keynote speaker. Again, do what you can for the people you serve, for the community you serve, and when you serve and better your community, you better the state of Mississippi. Thank you and good luck.
It's always good to be here with you at this event. And I do send our regrets from Haley Fisackerly, our CEO and president of Energy Mississippi. He is out assessing storm damage with our crews. He doesn't actually get up on the poles or, connect the wires. That's not what he does, but he's very important to be out there with our crews and encourage them and help determine what is needed, what resources are needed to get power restored. It's been a tough couple of days in the energy service area for sure, not just in Mississippi, but in Arkansas. Haley is the current chair of MEC, so I do want to say that he wants to really applaud your efforts for collaborating and working together and bringing the private and public sector and nonprofit sector all together to work on some of our state's challenges, and even beyond looking at challenges, really creating this vision of what we can be. And Entergy is invested in a number of projects around the state, and we're really excited about this year's theme about strengthening the charitable and creative economy, because we are believers in creating communities that people want to live in and work in, go to school in, and places that we can really use as cornerstones to build the economy of this state. And just right off the top of my head, you got the B.B. King Museum, the Grammy Museum, the beautiful art museum right here next to where we are, Thalia Mara, which is getting renovated, and IBC will soon be there, and many, many, many more. This is exciting. It's happening in Mississippi. It is happening, and you are a part of it. And we really want to thank you for your efforts. We cannot do this alone, and it's so important that you keep up the good work and let us know how we can support you in that good work. And we do have someone here today from Delbert Hoseman's office. It is very important that our state government and our state policies support all this good work. And I'm sure you're going to mention where Delbert is. He's also dealing with storm issues. We all know that's been a major issue today. But I've got Drew Snyder here today. And he is the Assistant Secretary of State, and he is involved in policy research. We were just up here talking about some policies. He also represents the Uniform Law Commission, and he's on the executive committee of the business law section of the Mississippi Bar. He earned his degree from Ole Miss, graduated summa cum laude, and he was student body president there, so some of you guys may know him. He also went to the University of Virginia to get his law degree, and he is married to Camille Allen Snyder, who's from Jackson. He lives here in Jackson and is with us today, so please welcome Drew Snyder.
Thank you, Liz. On behalf of Secretary Hoseman, he wanted me to send his apologies to you for not being here today. He's in Winston County following the storm, and he appreciates your understanding. A word of warning. I do not have Secretary Hoseman's vast intellect. I don't have his resume. I don't even run marathons. But what I do have is a better head of hair. So at least you'll be getting that today. A few weeks ago, I was asked to kind of come up with an aspirational intention statement for the organization that I was working with, and what I came up with was doing business the right way, and it was meaningful with the Secretary of State's office. We deal with over 10,000 filing entities each year. But it fit with some of the different roles that our organization has. For our charities division, doing business the right way is ensuring that Mississippi donors have the most knowledge available to them in charitable giving. Since January 1, 2014, our charities division has opened 104 new examinations. We've closed 87, and we are working on a total of 155 cases, including ones from last year. We've entered into 56 consent agreements or cease and desist orders with fines totaling over $80,000. So we're also trying to ensure that the charities that we regulate are doing their business the right way. For our elections division, it's implementing the voter ID requirement that goes into effect for the June 3rd federal primary election, while also ensuring that the overwhelming majority of people who already have government-issued photo ID know to bring it on election day, and also aggressively reaching out to find those individuals who don't have government-issued photo ID and ensure that they can get one easily and free of charge. But what does doing the business the right way mean for everybody here? Well, you heard for a number of years there was this debate about what was the right institution to solve society's problems. Was it the state? Was it the federal government? Was it the private sector? Was it the interdependent sector? Well, maybe the answer was all of the above. And Secretary Hosemann, whether intentionally or not, I think tested this theory when he got into office, took the all of the above answer in his approach for improving Mississippi's business laws. And what he did was he brought together lawmakers, executive branch employees, attorneys, CPAs, nonprofit leaders, and got them together and formed what business law reform study groups to look at ways to make our state's business laws better. Since 2009, the legislature has adopted 30 of the study group proposals. We had 7 this year, a headquarters relocation bill, legislation allowing more organizations to be able to purchase tax forfeited lands up to 160 acres. We modernized our agricultural marketing cooperative statutes, was a recommendation from the study groups the legislature adopted. And they also adopted legislation allowing businesses to convert or change their form of entity, for instance, from a for-profit corporation to a nonprofit by simply filing a form with the Secretary of State's office. We've modernized our trust laws, which were previously described as a great job creator for the state of Tennessee. Our collaborative effort of these study groups continues on, but maybe it's more than just business law. And I think doing what we're seeing out here today, and from what we've already heard and what we will hear from Joel, is people that are committed to doing business the right way, and also committed to doing business together. And the collaborative spirit is extremely encouraging. And on behalf of the Secretary of State's office, we want you to know that we will help in any way you can. We encourage any suggestions that you would have, whether they're things that we can do in our office more effectively and serve you better, or whether there are some policy changes that are needed, and you may want us as a resource to get a big group together and look at that. I know that 2 ideas have been tossed around for our summer study group programs. One has to do with benefit corporations, which are for-profit business entities with an overriding social purpose. They've been authorized in approximately 20 states and several states in the 2014 legislative session, and also looking at developing the relatively new pay for success financing concept, or also referred to sometimes as social impact bonds. And some of you may be familiar with it, some of you may not, but the idea is that the government partners with a outside organization to carry out generally a social service function, and the government, they have agreed upon outcomes, and the government pays if the organization produces those agreed upon outcomes. If not, they don't. and it's caught on in or is beginning in the UK with some recidivism, with reducing recidivism, and we're seeing some. The state of Massachusetts has authorized legislation so that some of these social impact bond funds can be set up in the event that a program is successful. Where the real support from this is coming from is the nonprofit community, from foundations and from our other organizations, from our social financing groups that realize that you can doing good work can have financial benefits, but can also greatly benefit society. So I'm here to listen today. I hate that you didn't get to see Secretary Hosemann today, but if come see me, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. Thanks.
We've come together because we've realized that we can't solve some of these problems individually. We really do have to work together and really devise methodologies that are focused. We have to focus on these individual problems with very focused solutions. And by doing so, we will have a far larger impact on far more people in this state.
Collectively, we can get a lot more done together than we can individually, and I think this conference brings together businesses and nonprofits from across the state, and working collectively, we can serve Mississippi better.
I think that's one of the biggest things we have to work on is, as nonprofits, we have to realize that as any other business, we have to be better, faster, and cheaper tomorrow than we were today.